The turn-off from Jamaica Road into Dockhead illustrates the problem with too many of London's cycle routes. They are neither safe and pleasant enough to be leisure routes, nor direct enough to be commuter routes. Having enjoyed cycling beside the river between Tower Bridge and Greenwich for many years, I was surprised to discover that about half of it isn't actually a cycle route. It's the Thames Path, which was planned for pedestrians. A riverside route for cyclists and pedestrians would be a great amenity for East London and a support for the area's economic regeneration. Some rights of way would have to be negotiated, but little capital expenditure would be required. The two groups share a path in many parts of London with more users than the Surrey Docks. This video follows the route east from the Tower. These cars could move out all too easily without having noticed the cycle route, or me. The junctions are dangerous and slow up cyclists. The trees are nice, but you don't see them if your eyes are scanning parked cars for safety hazards. This looks like the start of a riverside path, but it's just a dead end. If you want a good view of the river, it's best to dismount and stand on the seats. You wouldn't think it, but we're back on the cycle route now. Note the surfacing. Maybe it'll be resurfaced as a cycle route when the land behind the green hoarding is developed. Or maybe not. This is where National Cycle Route 4 rejoins the Thames, and you can see the river. From here to Rotherhithe, cycling is permitted on the Thames Path, but it obviously wasn't designed as a cycle path. Seeing the barriers and the road at the foot of this ramp makes me wonder if I should have been riding on the road. I'm pretty sure this short riverfront section wasn't designed as a cycle path, but if you're here on a leisure trip, it's worth a short excursion to see the view. That's Wapping on the other side of the river. I'm sorry to be riding on the footpath here, but the sets are too rough for cycling. I'd like to see the river, and there aren't any live pedestrians about. You can just see Tower Bridge and the Shard. This is King's Stairs Gardens. It was designated as a public space in 1947, but because of objections from a local council, didn't become a park until 1962. Now, Thames Water want to use the gardens for up to 10 years as a construction site for their expensive and unnecessary Thames Tunnel. What London needs is a sustainable drainage plan. It would have been less profitable for the banks, but the city needs more blue and green infrastructure. This is where NCN4 leaves the river to cross the Surrey Docks. Some cyclists do use NCN4 to get to Greenwich, but not many. The present St Mary's Church was built in the 18th century on the site of a much older church, and timber from the Fighting Temeraire was used in its construction. These granite sets are not good for cycling, but they must be kept. This is Rotherhithe Street. Some of it is marked as the Thames Path, and some of it is marked as a cycle route. The riverside sections are intended for pedestrians, but cyclists also use them when they're quiet. You can see why the riverside path here was not designated for use as a cycle path, but it's a very attractive place for leisure cycling. This is a bridge over the entrance to Surrey Water, which was part of the Surrey Docks network. This section of the Thames Path is fine for cyclists. Pity about the helicopter noise. Back down to Rotherhithe and the official cycle path here. Using the waterfront for a road and car parking is a real waste of riverside land. Here's the old entrance to Lavender Pond. It's good to find a flight of Thames stairs that are not blocked off. There should be many more trees on this stretch of the riverbank. There's the entrance to Russia Dock Woodland on the right, and I'm going up the steps to the Doubletree Hilton Hotel, but not stopping for lunch. There's Canary Wharf on the other side of the river. These chicane passages between the railings might be fun on a stunt bike. Kiddies might like them too, but I haven't managed a chicane without dismounting. This is Durran's Wharf, where the Mayor has approved a £65 million bike bridge without offering to pay for it. I think it should be built at Deptford instead. This is the Surrey Docks Urban Farm. It's a good place with a good cafe and a good waterfront garden. Here's the first good view of Greenwich, on the higher land on the south of the river. This path is part of the Jubilee Greenway. There's a William Pye curlicue sculpture. This is Greenland Dock, and we're back on NCN4, which is covered in another video. My main comment on the trip from Tower Bridge is that the route could and should be a riverside cycle path designed for leisure use. If you've cycled this route, an Amazon-style assessment would be welcome on the LAA website. Comments are welcome too. Thank you.